Going on YouTube? It's your boy Trinity Wolf, and welcome to the deck profile of my national deck profile. I know it's really late, but I've kind of been just busy with a lot of other things going on with, of course, my personal life and work. But I'm always trying to get this content out to you guys as much as possible. So just a few announcements before we get this started. I want to thank everybody for your support, all your patience with me, because I know I haven't been very consistent ever since this new schedule I have, but I promise you guys it'll change. We'll be uploading almost every day very soon, so it's coming. Just be patient with me. And also, before we get started with this deck profile, I also want to talk about it for a second. I'm mostly doing this deck profile for the people who really love the out-of-the-box versions of this deck. Everybody's been playing the deck, just a little more consistency with just doing only Shining Neos and all that. But you know how I am. I love the Neospatians. I love all the weird, wacky stuff you can do with this deck. But after the Yu-Gi-Oh! Day episode and going to Nationals, I quickly learned that, playing a deck like this, you have a high chance of not doing well because of the amount of bricks you play. And we took that chance, and unfortunately it was on a day that wasn't in our favor. But the deck can do crazy things, so unfortunately I'm going to be putting this build down for a little bit. For those of you who want to play it, we're going to be doing this deck profile. I really like it. It can do crazy amounts of things, so I'm not done with the Neospatians just yet. But I do want to play a more competitive build and win way more often than breaking with these Neospatians, you guys. But I absolutely love this deck. I love what it can do. There's never been a build that I've enjoyed way more than this one. It just had its downfall, and then even at locals, I kind of just got lucky with some of my matchups. But yeah, you guys. So I'll get to you. I'll still have something fun. There will be something fun I still might do. I think Neos Kluger might be the guy we test with next, since we don't have to play as many Spatians. I can trade in those 3 Spatians for a U-Bell. So we'll see how it is. But anyway, guys, destroy that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe for you new. And let's get into this deck profile. Alright, you guys, let's get into this. So, of course, we're going to be starting off with our Vision Hero package. Funny enough, we only decided to do 2 Ferris, 2 Vion, and 1 Increase. So I thought 6 was pretty much a good ratio for this. We only really need Ferris to resolve once. And since there's like a million ways to search for Ferris, I know it kind of starts off my inconsistency down for combo starters, but I'm just tired of when I do my draw effects, I just see another one of this and I'm just like, well, you're useless. So I felt like maybe trying out 2 Ferris was just enough, because we only really need to see Ferris resolve 1 time. Now, of course, we got double Stratos, double Mist. I'm seeing people are starting to cut Mist down to 1 now, because they're like, it's not really great to, I guess, start off with, even though I think that's kind of ridiculous, because there's nothing stronger than Mist getting discarded by Ferris and starting your combos off that way. I don't think I'll ever cut this down to 1. I guess the only really reason why people are cutting it to 1 is if they're doing a more Neos build, which makes sense. But in the grind game, you go first, you need it, and then when it comes to turn 3, you definitely need that second one. So 1 liquid, and then of course our Neos builds, we got 1 Spirit and 1 Neos. And then of course onto our Destiny Heroes, we got 1 Plasma, double Mally, 1 Denier, and 1 Dark Angel. There's really nothing to explain here, so we're just going to keep that going. And of course for our little Spatian package, of course we got the 1 Cross Keeper, 1 Dark Panther, 1 Aqua Dolphin, and 1 Grand Mole. Now I'm going to show like 1 combo that I pretty much did like right before I did this deck profile, where the hand was like absolutely nuts. Just to give you guys an idea of what the combos are like. Double Ash and Bell were pretty much the only hand traps we played. The reason for Bell was because Bestials. That's honestly the real main reason for a Ghost Bell. Was just I was just so tired of Bestials, so I didn't want to get hit with those. But that was it for the monsters on the main deck, you guys. So now we're going to go on to our consistency. Triple Hero Lives. I know I need to get my last ulti. One Rhoda, one Foolish, and believe it or not, guys, double E emergency call. Just sometimes you just need that hero. Sometimes you just need it. And only 2 Fusion Destiny, mostly because since we're playing this Omni Hero build, we don't really want to see this card because most of the time we make DPE with Polymerization. We don't really want to get locked into Darks just because of the amount of stuff we do in this deck, but it is basically there for security reasons and also due to the fact that I have triple tactics thrust inside of the side deck, so not very hard to search for. Double poly, one miracle. I always love double poly. I'm seeing people are going back to 1 again. Like, I really don't know why. To me, polymerization is just never a break. Double mass change. You know, our masked heroes are, you know, not as strong anymore. We don't really need acid because, you know, Shining Neos kind of replace the destruction effect. DPE can get rid of back row as well, and along with Stratos can get rid of back row. So blast is not as much, not blast. Acid is not very much needed. Basically, the only masked heroes we really need now is Dark Law and Blast. So we don't really need to run triple copies of mass change. 1 end shuffle and 1 call by the grave. End shuffle is there so we can get our Spirit Neos out and pretty much get our you know, counter trap. And then of course onto our traps, triple imperm, 1 favorite contact, and 1 protection of the elements, which actually I got to use this quite a few times. And of course when I go, I'm gonna protection the elements, they're like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, oh, I'm like, well, if it's a counter trap, obviously it means it's gonna stop whatever you're doing. That was it for the main deck, which was, I believe, 45. Of course, we're gonna start off with our links. I'm doing this fast mostly because I want to show you guys the combo and I don't want this to be an extremely long video. So double cross, 1 Infernal Divisor. The reason why I like Infernal Divisor way better than just going for Shining Neos is because, yes, we can get Neos, but you can also just get way more value off this, just also being able to add Spacians. I like being able to have as much options as I can. So instead of only having Shining Neos, I have options to Nebula, or even Cosmo Neos if we can get there. So I like being able to use all my cards to as much advantage as possible. Like, I really honestly don't like the fact that we use this just to get Neos for those builds. I mean, if you really want to see Neos that bad, you might as well just save room for this and just play some E emergency calls in your deck at that point, because I feel like it's kind of a waste to make a link to, you're getting rid of 2 monsters just to make 1 guy to search for a vanilla monster. So I think it's kind of silly, but I understand why we do that. But 1 Wonder Driver and 1 Dread Decimator. I saw that the top 32 deck profile with 2 Wonder Driver. I actually really like that a lot. Most of the time Dread Decimator really doesn't come out, so this probably will be cut for the 2nd Wonder Driver. And I tried doing double Wonder Driver before, you guys, in like a deck profile I did a while back ago, but sometimes, you know, when D barrier just kept coming up, so I ended up cutting the other Wonder Driver for Dread Decimator. So now we're gonna go back to double Wonder Driver. Now, of course, for our E heroes, 1 Sun, 1 Absolute Zero. Of course, the boy Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, 1 Nebula Neos, and then 1 Cosmo Neos, and then of course our Shining Neos Wingman. Now, last but not least, we got our double masked heroes, 1 Blast, 1 Dark Law, and then of course DPE. Now, I normally don't show the side deck because, you know, I really don't care, because sometimes it just depends on how the people play. I was mostly revolving my my side deck around triple tactics thrust. So we did we did 2 triple thrust, 2 evenlies, as you can see, they're normal traps, so they're easily to search for. A double D barrier, yet again, normal trap, you can search for it with thrust. The Harpy's Feather Duster, and then double Dark Ruler no more. See, like most of my side deck was basically for thrust, so that way we had options to be able to search for anything we needed. And of course, the only ones we couldn't search for was the Rivalry of the Warlords, double Nibiru, and double Droll and Lockbird. So that was it for the deck profile, you guys. So for those of you who don't really feel like watching the combo that has pretty much seen it already, hopefully you enjoyed the deck profile. Hit that thumbs up for me on your way out. I really enjoy it. It really helps. I really like that you guys have been helping me out by destroying that thumbs up button. It really helps out a lot more than you could possibly know. Leave a comment down below. And for those of you who are sticking around, let's get into a quick refresher of the combo. So, I kid you not, this was my hand. Kind of silly, but it was actually the very first, because I just did the deck profile, so I don't want to reshuffle and keep drawing like some things. So this was literally a hand I tested right before the deck profile. And of course, since we're just going to do this quickly, we'll start off with Hero Lives. So this is basically for everybody who wants to play the deck, you know, and just be refreshed on how it works. So of course we're going to Hero Lives, going to get a Stratos, and because we have a Malicious in our hand, we're gonna grab Ferris. Use our Ferris, pitch our Malicious. Oh yeah, let me zoom out a little bit here so that way y'all can fully see the board. All right, so then of course, gonna pitch Malicious for Ferris. We're gonna do everything in type position, it doesn't matter. Ferris, of course. Let me put my spells and stuff aside. And now, since I did the deck profile, it's a lot easier to actually search for the cards. We'll put our Increase there. Increase will tribute Ferris. And then Increase will get our Vion. Which now Vion will send our Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is going to trigger. And we're actually going to search for Liquid Soldier. So this is still our hand right here. And of course Vion's going to banish Ferris to grab our second copy of Polymerization. Now I'm actually going to have to shuffle some of these just because we're going to get some draw effects soon. I'm just glad I got most of the monsters I'm trying to use out of the way. So hopefully that should be good and shuffled enough. I mean, the spells, traps, and monsters were pretty even. And now the fact that this too is great, Reinforcements basically gets us access to our Aqua Dolphin or our Crosskeeper if we really want to. But since most of the people know how my Cosmo Neos combo works, and if you guys don't know, just go right into my videos and just find one. I guarantee you most of the time it's me showing out how to Cosmo Neos. But if we don't actually draw into this Aqua Dolphin, I'll show you what I mainly do as a backup plan. And that's basically what I'm going to show you guys is the backup plan, because everybody kind of knows how to summon Cosmo Neos. If you've been watching me long enough, you basically know how to summon Cosmo Neos with this deck profile at this point. So I'll show you the backup if we can't get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is make Cross Crusader. Obviously, we'll get our Malicious and then tribute the Malicious to search for. And let's go ahead and already get him already. We're actually going to go ahead and grab our Denier. And since we actually have an E Emergency Call, we're going to use E Call to actually search for our Neos. Next, what we're going to do is actually use our Malicious Engrave. The reason why I'm not linking off Stratos is so that way if I do actually draw into my EN Shuffle, I have a good card to basically put back in the deck and get EN Shuffle for Spirit of Neos, and we can get our Counter Trap. And then here's why I really love the Infernal Divisor. So we use our Infernal Divisor, we reveal our Nebula Neos to our opponent, and then we add our Grand Mole and our Dark Panther to our hand. Now look at how full our hand is, you guys. And this was a 45 card deck, by the way. It's not 50 anymore because a lot of you guys didn't like it being 50, so I managed to cut it down to 45. And this is literally how I played it at Nationals. So now that we have this, if we want to get greedy, we can actually go ahead and reinforcements for Crosskeeper instead of searching for Aqua Dolphin. Because, like I said, this is basically going to be like the backup plan in case we don't see the Aqua Dolphin, even though we clearly would have had access to it. But instead of actually using Crosskeeper to get Neos, we're actually going to use Crosskeeper as effect to just basically get our Shadow Mist back onto the field, just to be used as link material for our Wonder Driver. Now we're actually going to go into our fusion here, using, of course, our Liquid Soldier and our Neos to get, obviously, Infernal Rage, but we're not going to actually put them underneath the Wonder Driver just because we actually already have a second copy of Polymerization in our hand. So we're going to summon Infernal Rage. And yes, I'm sure you're thinking, oh, he's got the draw 4 right now, but we're actually going to hold off on that. We're actually going to go Liquid Soldier, Chain, Infernal Rage. So we're going to go Chain Link 1, Liquid, Chain Link 2, Infernal Rage. And I'll show you why I didn't actually activate the Cross Crusader just yet. So we're going to add our favorite contact. So now we've got that. And then we're going to draw 2 and then pitch 1. The reason why we didn't want to use Cross Keeper just yet is just because we don't want to draw 4 cards and we don't want to draw too many cards to where we actually see our Miracle Fusion. So now we'll draw our 2. We got a Mass Change and a Foolish. And of course the card we're going to discard is, actually we're going to discard one of our Spacians just because we have Polymerization and Denier. So let's keep the Panther. Let's get rid of the Panther. And Foolish Burial actually gives us access to our Aqua Dolphin, which is absolutely amazing. So now we're going to use our Infernal Rage's second effect, where we get our copy of Sunrise. And then here's where we use our Crosskeeper. We're going to go Chain Link 1 Crosskeeper because his effect is only, it's when you special summon a fusion monster. Like it doesn't mean when you special summon an E-Hero, it doesn't matter how you do it. So you go Chain Link 1 Crosskeeper, Chain Link 2 Sunrise. So now we get another draw 2. We just didn't want to draw into our Miracle Fusion, you guys. That's basically why I didn't do it as a Chain Link 3 to where I would have got our favorite contact, drew 2, pitched, and then drew 2, put 1 back. That's why we didn't do it. Even though if you did draw the Miracle Fusion, you could put it back, but then it's kind of like, oh man, like I could have just got another card instead. So of course we did the good shuffle. I've been shuffling it as the whole time I've been talking. An Ash Blossom and an Imperm, which is fan-frickin-tastic. But the card we're gonna have to put back is, oh boy, this actually kind of rough. The Mask Change is really good because that gives us access to, you know, but let's actually just put the Polymerization back. I think we can work this out. All right, so now that we put that back, now we pretty much have to get DPE on the field. So let's actually just first Foolish Burial. Get our Aqua Boy to the graveyard. So we already have Cosmo Neos here. We already have Cosmo Neos. We have Cosmo Neos, you guys. So they're already pretty much screwed right then and there. So let's get our Polymerization back by, we're gonna have to, funny enough, let's go ahead and Miracle Fusion. And actually, we never even normal summoned, you guys. I just realized that. This time, I actually caught that we've never actually normal summoned. We never normal summoned, so let's actually go ahead and normal Denier right underneath our Wonder Driver, triggering both their effects. Of course, Wonder Driver has to go first, Chain Link 1. Denier will put our Malicious back on top. Now we're going to fuse the two together. We'll fuse Sunrise and Denier. Obviously getting the boy, the man, the DPE. Get DPE to our side of the field. Now we'll go Miracle Fusion into Sunrise and Neos, because we already know Neos is going to go back in the deck regardless, so it doesn't really matter. Into our Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. And what we're going to do here now is, since we actually have access to our Cosmo Neos, we're going to actually activate Phoenix's effect. We're going to destroy both Wake Up and DPE, triggering Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. And then we are going to get access to our Spirit of Neos, which is going to trigger his effect, grabbing us our Protection of the Elements. Now, what's really good about leaving Neos, well, leaving Spirit Neos on the field, what makes leaving him there really good is pretty much we'll be able to get access to our Neos back when we shuffle him in with our favorite contact. We'll have access to be able to reach him. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'll leave them face up too. So not only that we have our favorite contact, we've got our protection, we've got an imperm, we've got a mass change. When our DPE returns, Wonder Driver is going to reset a spell. Since we don't have a dark, let's actually go ahead and use our graveyard of our malicious effect. If I find them. Let's go ahead and use our malicious to get access to our Dark Law here. So we have access to Dark Law and Blast if we really need to. So Dark Law and Blast access. We can literally access almost everything in our extra deck right now. So this is kind of just what I've been trying to show you guys, that you have everything at your arsenal here. So the only thing we didn't get to do is, you know, obviously do Plasma or Dark Angel, but you know, having Cosmo Neos, pretty much that you don't have to worry about that. So, you know, their turn starts, immediately draw phase happens. Let's trigger our favorite contact, shuffling back our Grand Mole, our Neos, our Aqua Dolphin, and our Panther. And this is how much was left of the deck, you guys. That's how much of the combo we went through. It was pretty much almost all of our decks. So that comes out into Cosmo. We'll put them right here just because we can kind of just chain block with Wonder Driver. So it'll be like Chain Link 1, Wonder, and then Chain Link 2, Cosmo. We'll reset Miracle. Now they can't activate any cards or anything for the rest of the turn. And then standby phase happens. DPE is going to return. DPE is going to return to the field. And then they just really have nothing left, you guys. We have our Counter Trap, which we most of the time will want to get rid of our Neos just so we have guaranteed access to our Vanilla Neos the next turn. But obviously with Cosmo Neos, that's just completely shut down. Let's just say they just set one monster and set 4 back row and passed. So what we could do here is, if they did that, we can activate Phoenix, chain mass change targeting our Stratos. So we'll put our Stratos back, get our Blast. We want to leave DPE out here just so that way we have access to destroying it as soon as the turn starts in case they have something, you know, fishy. So we'll destroy our mass change and destroy one of the back row. So now they have 3 left. And then of course we'll chain his effect. Blast will bounce 1 back. So now they have 2 back row left with a monster. And then the turn will pass. It'll be our turn, of course, since the cards were put on the bottom. We draw for turn, and it just so happens to be a Stratos, which is hilarious. Then we could immediately trigger Phoenix if we wanted to during this time, and then chain Blast. If they had anything fishy, obviously we had Protection of the Elements to stop it. So what we could do is we'll just destroy Malicious and their monster and use Blast to get rid of... This is obviously just imaginary. Our opponent would probably scoop with how much advantage we have, but I'm just giving you guys an idea of like my mind and how it works again with this deck on like the kind of things you can stop with it. Obviously we have Protection of the Elements at whatever time we want to. But the reason why I like having Spirit Neos on the field when I make Cosmo, because it's like, well, how do you get access to your Shining Neos Wingman now? So literally what we'll do is activate Spirit of Neos effect, shuffling himself back into the deck, giving us our Elemental Hero Neos. So I didn't really need to do all these effects. I was just kind of showing you guys and just explaining the kind of things I have going on here. So now that Neos is back on the field, then we can Miracle Fusion, right? Getting rid of our Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, right? And our Neos. They get banished. And then here he comes. Here comes Shining Neos Wingman, pretty much demolishing whatever was left of their board. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's just how this... I know you have to play Spatians in order for this to work like how it is. But it's a really amazing deck, you guys. And I just wanted to just let you guys know that I loved playing this. But we're going to take it a little bit more seriously from here on out. But if you guys want to play it, by all means, feel free. Top events with it, shout me out. Like, I really want to know that you guys really like this deck. So it'll probably come back in the future, but as of right now, I want to take things more seriously. But I'll come back with you guys maybe next week with a new deck profile after the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Day episode. But this is going to be your boy Trinity Wolf signing out, and I will see you guys in the next one.